Hey, how's it going? How's everybody doing? This is just Average Schmo back to open up this box right here. This little box right here. If you're not a subscriber, why not subscribe? Why not? What the hell? Doesn't cost you anything. Helps me out. And who knows? You might actually find you're mildly entertained by the content I put out. If you're already a subscriber, hey, welcome back. I'm glad you're tuning in for the next video. And hopefully by the end of this, whether you're a subscriber or not, by the end of the video, you'll have enjoyed it enough to just hit that thumbs up button. Help me with the YouTube algorithm and help my channel grow. You can do that. What we're here to open up is the Horrorpack Blu-ray for February 2023. You'll find the information down below in the description box about Horrorpack. I've been a subscriber to this particular box for, I want to say at least 2 years now. I know I probably got like 2/3 of the Blu-rays I've gotten that are still in the plastic because I never have time to watch movies. And when I do get home and find that I have some time, I never think to go grab one of those and unwrap it and watch a Blu-ray. I'm normally just popping on one of the streaming services or here on YouTube to follow and watch all the new videos from all the people I watch on YouTube. But eventually, that's the great thing about having the Blu-rays though, is that eventually I'll get around to watching them and I won't have to go look for them on streaming services or anything. I've got the Blu-ray so I can just watch them whenever I want. But if you are a fan of horror, obviously this would be a good box for you. And if you're like me, if you're kind of old school, not to mention that I am getting old. I'm 51 now, so technically I think they say 50 is the hill, right? So I'm technically over the hill now. Which can be scary because, I mean, normally if you're over the hill, that means the rest of it's downhill. But I don't think I like to think that it's more on a plateau. You know, it's a climb up and then you reach 50 and then it's just a level plateau for the rest of your life. And you just enjoy it. You just enjoy the ride. That's what I plan to do. But yeah, I am old school. So when it comes to, I mean, as much as I stream, and I love the streaming services I subscribe to and stuff, I mean, it's hard to think of a time when we didn't have that. And if you want to watch something, you basically were at the whim of whatever was on the TV at that time. You know, you couldn't pick and choose what you were going to watch. You know. And then, of course, VHS tapes came out. And then, you know, you could watch them. We thought that was all the rage because here you could be watching something, and if you need to go to the bathroom, you could stop. You could just pause it right where you were at. And when you got back, start playing it again. That was me. The only downside of VHS tapes is when you got to the end of it, then you had to rewind. I think, especially if you were renting them from, like, you know, the video store. For you youngins out there, because those are very hard to find. I think there's literally only like one Blockbuster left in the whole United States now. But yeah, that was the big chain, Blockbuster. And you basically, they had VHS tapes. And you basically went in and you got a membership, and then you could go on and you paid a rental fee to rent the VHS tape and take it home with you for one night or 3 nights. I forget how long you actually got it for. I think it was like 3 nights normally. And then you could watch it at your leisure, and then you just brought it back. And then, of course, when the transition to DVDs came in, and then they switched over to DVDs. But then you started seeing streaming, and that kind of put an end to video stores. But yeah, anyway, I'm rambling. This is Again, monthly subscription. They have two different versions. They have the Blu-ray version, which is what I get. I just prefer Blu-rays. They have a DVD version. The Blu-ray version is $29.99 with free shipping in the continental United States. The DVD version is $24.99 with free shipping in the continental United States. And what it is, each month you get, depending on which one you subscribe to, you get 4 DVDs or 4 Blu-rays. Now, they don't do the same DVDs as Blu-rays, so you could actually subscribe to both. And you would essentially get 8 different movies each month, 4 on DVD and 4 on Blu-ray. I just do the Blu-ray ones, because as I said, there'd be no point in me in getting 8 movies because I don't have time to watch the 4 that I get. But the really cool thing is, every month, whether it's the DVDs or Blu-rays, one of them is always a limited edition for Horrorpack. And what that can mean, it can mean a couple of different things. Normally what it is it's sometimes like an independent film that's being released exclusively through Horrorpack. In other words, that's the only place you can get it. Outside of maybe you might be able to buy it like directly from the movie studio or the production studio that's doing it. But as far as going to like the store and buying it, no, you won't. It's exclusive to Horrorpack. Other things that it can mean is that it can be like a nationwide release, but Horrorpack might have something special. They might have extra bonus features that the one at the store doesn't have, or it might have different cover art, something that makes that limited edition to Horrorpack. Every once in a while, they have a limited edition, and what makes them really limited is because they're actually autographed by the director or the producer or one of the cast members, or sometimes a couple of cast members. So they don't do that very often. I would imagine logistically it's quite hard to do sometimes. And also cost-wise, I mean obviously that's going to add to the cost. But come in this nice little box, which I always keep. I always keep those boxes because those make great shipping boxes when I have to ship them. And they always come in a little bubble mailer, which I also keep. But here we go. Let's dive in. Enough of hearing me rambling. 4 Blu-rays, all horror. What do we get this month? We've got the Forever Purge. One night is not enough. So is this like the newest one? I mean, the only Purge I've seen is the first one. How many they got now? Like 5 or 6, something like that? Well, I mean, I enjoyed the first one. I enjoyed it. Even though it's really a very morbid and kind of frightening story, in that movie is, and what's really frightening is screwed up as the world is at times. I could honestly see, maybe not here in the U.S., but I could honestly see some country somewhere actually instituting something like this, to keep the population under control or for whatever reason. It's frightening. But this has got to be, I'd imagine this is like the newest one that they did, right? I'm trying to look for the date on it, but the print is so tiny. Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, there we go. The Forever Purge. All right. Number 2. Looks like it's got John Travolta in it. It looks like John Travolta on the back. We've got The Fanatic. Oh, yeah. I've heard about this. I've never seen a trailer or anything for it, though. Oh, I guess I should read this out loud so you guys can hear it. It says, on the grimy streets of Hollywood, a celebrity-obsessed man feels slighted by his favorite movie star and embarks on an unhinged quest to get a response, leading to a home invasion and a very long night that changes both men irreparably. And it says, there's a quote. I can't read who it's by because it's so faint. You can't read, like, straight here, you can't read that. But it says, effectively chilling work by John Travolta in the tradition of stalker/fans in movies such as Misery and The King of Comedy. I've seen Misery. I have not seen King of Comedy. I've actually heard, I've heard a couple of people talk about this, and from what I heard, it's a really good movie. So The Fanatic, all he wanted was an autograph. So, yeah. I mean, I can't understand obviously going to those extents that he probably does in a movie. But I mean, I've been to a lot of conventions, and I will be honest, there have been just a handful. There's only like two right off the top of my head that I can think of that I felt kind of slighted and felt as though me going up and meeting them and trying to talk to them was, they didn't like it. They came across as the celebrities that were truly there just maybe to fulfill an obligation to whatever the newest movie or whatever it is that they were promoting, and they were just there to make money, by signing autographs and stuff. They weren't really interested in actually meeting their fans, which is really sad because, let's be honest, if it wasn't for the fans, these movie stars would not be movie stars. Celebrities would not be celebrities if it wasn't for the fan base. But they're very few and far between, and even then, some of them, I think, it's not so much that's how they are. It's just that maybe, for whatever reason, that day, or at that moment, for that that part of the day or whatever, maybe they just had a bad phone call or whatever. I mean, it's no excuse to kind of diss your, people that are coming to see you and pay money to get a photo or to get your autograph. But it happens. So I understand that. And from what I've heard, I'm not going to mention names, but the one celebrity that really, it was like when I walked up to him, he came across as though I was really just bothering him. So I was not impressed when I met him. As far as who he is as a celebrity, I respect him. The talent he has, not only in front of the screen but behind the scenes. But meeting him in person, I was not impressed. Probably the worst one I've ever met. And again, they're very few and far between. Like I said, I could only think of two right off the top of my head. But I'm sure there's been a couple, because I've probably met like 100 or more celebrities going to conventions, Horror Hound Convention, Comic-Con, stuff like that. But I mean, the good thing is that the percentage of celebrities you go and meet that are that way is a very small. It's probably like a single-digit percentage. So if you go meet 100 celebrities, there's probably only going to be maybe 4 or 5 of them that came across as though you were just being a nuisance to them. Even though that's the reason they're there, right? But most of them that I've met have been an absolute pleasure. Some of them really stand out. I'll shout out one right here that really made me have even more respect for him. and that was Michael Madsen. Me and my daughter went to, I believe it was a Horror Hound, and we went up to meet Michael Madsen, and they had him in front of like a little room, so that was kind of like his dressing room or whatever, and they had his table out in front of it. And he was standing in the doorway, and we went up, and he was on the phone at the time. And we stood there patiently, waiting. Lance sounded a little bit, but I didn't want to sit there and stare at him because it'd be rude. But we sat and talked to each other and stuff, and we waited. And it was probably about, I don't know, 10 or 12 minutes that we stood there, which isn't a really long time, but to a lot of people, they might have a problem with that. We didn't. Me and my daughter were talking to each other, and didn't have a problem. I wanted to meet Michael Madsen. When he finally got off the phone, he apologized profusely, and it came across as genuinely he felt bad that we were standing there waiting. And he sat and talked to us for a good 15 or 20 minutes after that. And basically, it was because I believe it was his son was sick, so he had called, or his son had called him, and he was kind of checking in to see how his son was doing and everything. And me, being a father there with my daughter, I completely understood that. And it was great. He was absolute joy to meet. So if you ever get a chance to meet Michael Madsen, I highly recommend meeting him. He's a great guy. Anyway, moving on. Number 3. We've got Bad Dreams. Okay, so this is the Horrorpack Limited Edition Blu-ray. This is the best of the Nightmares Film Festival 2022. So this is probably, again, they took so many of these small, or probably shorter films at this film festival. Obviously, it's a horror-based, obviously with the name Nightmares. And they compiled them to make this limited edition Blu-ray. So that will be that'll be interesting. Yeah. Sometimes I like these, like this shorter, just like short stories. I mean, sometimes a short story can be just as good as like a full-blown novel. Sometimes, in some cases, even better. So these short films, especially in the horror genre, can oftentimes just be mind-blowing. It says 10 more terrifying tales from your darkest nightmares. So there's 10 little short films in this compilation from the Nightmares Film Festival 2022. That should be interesting. And the last Blu-ray that we have is, and this looks like one that you could probably find on store shelves. It's called Open 24 Hours. Welcome to the Graveyard Shift. Pray you never run out of gas. Kind of a cool, kind of a metallic look on the slipcover there. So, okay, it looks like the regular thing is the same as the slipcover. Occasionally they'll have like a different art on the slipcover than they do the Blu-ray case. This says, Don't Breathe meets House of the Devil. Alright, let's read what it's about real quick. A paranoid, delusional woman, Mary White, has just been released from a mental hospital. That's never good. For setting her serial killer boyfriend on fire. Mary suffers from severe paranoia and hallucinations. Her boyfriend, James Lincoln Fields, there we go, gotta have the middle name in there, right? Serial killer. Is a brutal serial killer known as the Rain Ripper. He enjoyed murdering people and making Mary watch. After being released from the hospital, Mary's vulnerable demeanor aids her in obtaining employment at an all-night gas station. However, left alone to her own devices, her paranoia and hallucinations return with furious consequences. Customers and friends suddenly start turning up dead and mutilated all around her. Ooh. That sounds like a winner. I mean, that's kind of a weird thing to say about something like that, but sounds like it'd be a good horror movie to watch, right? All right, there we go. That's it. That is the 4 movies from the February 2023 Horrorpack Blu-ray subscription box. Again, check out the information down below about Horrorpack. You'll find the website down below. You'll also find information about me, my business, The Old Treasure Isle, a page on Facebook. I sell through Mercari, Poshmark, and eventually live whatnot auctions once I get enough followers on there to make it worthwhile actually, setting up the auctions and doing them. If I only get 5 or 6 people in a room, it's pointless. So spread the word. Follow me on all that stuff. Obviously, if you're not a subscriber here, subscribe. Hit that all notifications bell. The only other thing I know that I have coming soon, I would think, is my Universal Yums box, which is a subscription box that features snacks from different parts of the world. So that's always good. Who doesn't like food and snacks and chips? Yeah. So make sure to subscribe so you know when that pops up there. That might be something you'd be interested in. All right. Outside of that, hey, as always, everybody look out for yourself and those around you, because it makes it much easier for us all to stay safe and healthy. Until the next time,